Alright, so we all know when it comes to sleep, like many things in life, quality is just as important as quantity. And that's why sleep scientist Matthew Walker and his book, Why We Sleep, really stress the importance of getting enough deep sleep, which makes up about 20% of an average sleep cycle, to improve your overall lifespan, how much you can learn in a single day, and how cognitively optimized and sharp you feel the morning after. So let's dive into how you can specifically improve your deep sleep with some tactics that managed to improve mine by about 50% over the course of 3 years. So a little bit of backstory here. Roughly about 2 to 3 years ago, I picked up Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep. And quite honestly, my mind was blown about how sleep quality can improve how long you live, how smart you are, and just how happy you are on a day-to-day basis. So after I finished that book, I pretty much decided I would drop everything, and instead I would just be an athlete of sleep. So around that time, I purchased this fancy new gadget called Aura Ring, which essentially just tracks every single night of sleep and breaks down the quality you get of each. Now, over the course of those 2 years, I've been pretty much logging every single day and testing out different factors which can improve my deep sleep, the most important part of sleep. And with that, I've come up with some pretty cool tactics, all of which have been backed by Matthew Walker and other scientific sleep experts. So let's kick off with number 1. So the first thing that I learned was to stop eating before bed. Now this one might sound a bit obvious, but to me it completely broke my heart because I love food and I love eating as late as possible because it essentially means I can eat more in a day. But I noticed a really terrifying trend quite early. Whenever I would eat a big delicious burrito quite close to bed, not only would it leave me feeling quite full and quite groggy in the morning as a result, but my deep sleep, the most important form of sleep, would literally slash in half. So I really needed to figure out what eating was doing to my sleep. So I had a look at the research and it was actually quite obvious. If you eat too close to sleep, your digestive processes recruit so much energy that it actually doesn't allow you to drop into this lower wavelength form of regenerative deep sleep. So therefore, eating before bed was completely destroying my sleep quality. So I tried a different approach. I started having my dinners at like 6 or 5 p.m, a lot shorter compared to the 8 p.m. windows I do before. And the difference was significant. If I was to have a lighter dinner at an earlier part of the day, let's say 3 hours before bed, my deep sleep would just shoot through the roof just by moving my eating window from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And I've never really looked back since. Alright, so tactic number 2, and something that Matthew Walker deeply talks about in his podcast with Matthew Rose, in which I'll link to the description, is cold immersion. Now I noticed this for the first time, I'd say summer 2019. Around this time I was living in America, California, and it was hot as hell. I remember going into bed and just sweating and like waking up literally in just a pool of sweat. I know it's kind of gross, but it's just how it was. So one thing about these hot evenings that I've always noticed is that my sleep quality was always rubbish. It was just always rubbish. But there was little I could do, right? I mean, I could whack on the aircon, but it never really made that much of a difference because, to be quite honest, it was hotel aircon, it sucked. But what I did notice is that every single night where I'd have a hot bath or a hot shower, I'd actually sleep like a complete baby. Now, this sounds kind of counterintuitive. Why would a hot shower on a hot night make me sleep better? So I went back to Matthew Walker's podcast, and what I found is that this is actually a well-known strategy to improve the quality of your deep sleep. If you have a hot shower before bed, it causes the blood in your skin to rise to the surface of your skin, and once you've left that shower, you'll actually begin to dissipate heat at a really quick rate in your body's attempt to cool you down. As a result, you actually end up a lot cooler from a core body temperature perspective than you would have been not having that shower. And this is where the magic happens. By being cold before you go to bed, it actually does wonders for your deep sleep. I mean, I can show you the stats. On nights where I would be hot, I'd be getting about 90 minutes of deep sleep. Whereas nights where I'd have a hot shower, I'd be getting about an hour more, 2 hours and 30 minutes, which quite frankly is almost like getting another night's sleep in one. So like 2 for the price of 1 when it comes to sleep, just by having a hot shower before bed. And I noticed a really similar effect when it came to either going to the sauna or having a hot bath. And then funnily enough, if I was ever to have my bedroom really, really cold, I'd notice as well that that would have a very similar effect of giving me a quality night of sleep. So I would definitely recommend giving this strategy a go. All right, so habit number 3 has got to be orange glasses. Now, it's quite evident at this point that I absolutely love Matthew Walker, and that's why I keep talking about him. But in his book, Why We Sleep, he talks about how our ancestors would rely on the sun cycle in order to know when to sleep. So for instance, the hunter-gatherer man would look up at the sunset, and those orange glows of which he saw would actually signal to his circadian rhythm, all of his bodily clocks, that now was the time to go to sleep. And as a result, his sleep hormones, like melatonin, would switch on and begin to make him feel drowsy and tired, so that by the time, let's say, 8 or 9 hit, he would be fast asleep in his little camp, near his campfire, just having the time of his life. And then equally, when he would wake up, the sun would rise, he'd see big blue tones and big bright skies, and this would shut off his melatonin, make him feel awake and ready for the day, and he'd be ready to hunt a few saber-toothed lions or mammoths or whatever the hell he did. Alright, so why is this so important? Well, we've been relying on the rise and fall of the sun to tell us when to go to sleep for absolutely generations. And it's only until recent times that this process has been completely out of whack. You see, by us staring into our iPhone screens just before bed, something I'm super guilty of, we're pouring tons of blue light into our eye sockets and ultimately sending signals that we need to be awake and we need to be alert for that saber-toothed tiger. Yet, unfortunately, this means that we're going to be sitting in bed a lot longer, refusing to go to sleep, and we'll have to wait a lot longer for some of those hormones like melatonin to send us into a beautiful drift. So my top hack and recommendation is one that will never win you any type of beauty awards, and quite frankly might even get you teased in front of your friends. But it is in fact the orange glasses. These bad boys right here completely block out any form of blue light, so they fool your body into thinking that it is sunset and it is time to go to sleep. So by putting these on about 2 hours before, you will naturally feel a lot sleepier and be able to go to sleep a lot quicker, as opposed to tossing and turning, waiting for a restless night's sleep. Alright, so thank you for watching. Just a very quick recap of the hacks. The first is to push back the time you eat dinner for about 3 hours before bed. The second is to try and have a hot shower or bath before bed, or equally have a cold room. And the third is to give orange glasses a go in order to fall asleep a lot quicker. And as a result, you should have a remarkably big improvement in your sleep quality and also be happy, healthier, and a lot smarter because of it. Now, everything that I mentioned in this video, I've actually included in the description below, so feel free to have a browse of those. And finally, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do have any recommendations that you'd like to see in a future video, just drop them below. I'd be very interested to see. I'm definitely starting this thing off, so I don't know where it will go, but at the end of the day, I just want to give a lot of advice and help out as many people as I can. So, thanks for watching.